Which page is the...
Oh, from the Secret of the Veda, I will tell you. It is a mandala first. It's from the beginning. Yes, he starts. So he's going mandala by mandala. So you will start hymn 1, then hymn 12. There will be a jump because 11 hymns are not dedicated to Agni. So this is the second in the row. And then 13th. Sri Aurobindo didn't cover all the hymns to Agni. Yes? There are more than 200 hymns and 240 something. And in the whole Rigveda, but he covered the big amount of hymns. So we will take them. Rashi is joining us. Namaste, Rashi. Long time no see.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have no words to express how much I've missed my Veda spa. My life was not glowing at all without.
Veda spa. This is funny.
That's what my mother says. If I go to a parlor, if I go to swimming, if I go to holiday, no change. But after the Veda class, I look very bright and beautiful. So that's my Veda spa.
It's true. It's absolutely true. It changes all our inner being. It starts shining more luminous, and so we can see that light even on the skin. Yeah.
3 months without light, Vladimir, just think about it.
Right. Yes, it's difficult. I agree. That's why we need the Veda. That's why the Veda was so precious for Indian tradition, and millions of Brahmins were learning it by heart just to transmit this text forward, just to preserve the text. Great. Okay, we are here in the number 4, I think. We covered 3. This is the second hymn. Let me just recapture it very fast. First 3. Agnim dutam vrenimahe hotaram vishvavedasam. I will start with mantra. Om Vang me manasi pratisthita mano me vachi pratishthitam Aviravirma edhi vedasyama anistha shrutam me ma prasi anena dhitena horatran samdadhami ritam vadishyami satyam vadishyami tanmamavatu tadvaktaramavatu avatu mam avatu vaktaram avatu vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. These are very charged mantras. They always give, as we know, some new meaning. Even knowing this Shanti part for so many years, for more than 40 years, I am still kind of discovering always a shade of meaning which is uniquely new for me, for my understanding. And in this time when I was speaking it, this protect me, protect the speaker is the one who actually recites the mantras, yes, the hymns. The speaker is the one who will read the hymns, and these hymns read have to be charged with consciousness. So avatu means not only protect, but fill, grow within me the flame, yes, within me who speaks the mantra. That means may my mantra be effective to the change of my consciousness. This is what kind of comes to me, but because it can be also not totally effective, but it has to kind of kindle the fire within. So this is also very relevant to this hymn. Agnim dutam vrenimahe. We invoke or we choose the summoner, the Agni, the summoner of the gods, the all-knowing Vishvavedasam, the messenger Dutam, the will effective of the sacrifice, Asya Yajnasya, of this sacrifice, of this transformation, Sukratum, the effective will, the perfect will of transformation. Agnim Agnim Havima Bihich Sada Havanta Vishpatim Havyavaham Purupriyam. To the Lord of the creatures, the bearer of our offerings, the beloved of many, to every flame the sacrifices ever call, with hymns that summon the gods, one in whom are many dear things. And this is interesting because Purupriyam Sri Aurobindo translates in his own way. In whom are many dear things means it is through Agni as the gate all the spiritual treasures come to us. Yes? Without this flame and burning within us, these treasures will never be revealed to us. And all the gods are coming through him. Yes? Agni is the gate for all the gods. Agne Devan Iha Vaha Jajnana Vrikta Barhishe Asi Hotana Idia. O Agni, bring here the gods of fire, thou being born hither, bear the gods for the sacrificer who spreads the holy seed. Thou art our desirable summoning priest. Asihotana Idiach. Desirable, he translates Idia. It can be also sought with adoration. Beloved priest, beloved invoker. This is the 3 verses that we covered, and now we are going into number 4.
Which hymn is this?
It's number 12. 112. You want to follow the... I don't have book with me, unfortunately, just to check.
Okay.
But let me check, then I may find it. Wait a minute, then.
In the book, it's 118.
The page number, yes? 118?
Yeah, page 118.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You can recognize by the numbers, 112, yeah? Mandala 1, hymn 12. There must be some... I have somewhere the hymns to the Mystic Fire. Shall I open them? I prepared separate because I have my interpretation and the words here for you, you know. I typed it
You
out.
do it your way. No, you do it your way. It's all right.
And there is Vedic accent here, which is also very important to understand the meaning. Because the accent is telling you what case is there. So tan ushato vibodhaya, this is a new verse. Yat agni yasi dutiyam devair asatsi barhishi. O fire, when thou goest as our envoy, dutiyam, when you fulfill your duty as our envoy, as our messenger, awaken them up who desire our offerings. Tan ushatach, those desiring, vibodhaya, you awaken. Yad Agne, which to which you yasi dutiyam, you go as a messenger, devaich asatsi, take thy seat with the gods on the holy grass, devaich asatsi, sit on with the gods on Barhishi, on the Barhis. We spoke about Barhis a bit. Barhis is that place which we prepare for the gods and for Agni, for the gods to sit around Agni, around fire. It's a holy grass. And Barhis from brich, to extend, to expand. I was kind of interpreting it as cleaning up the place or vacating it from all other powers, banishing all other powers, and preparing the inner space for the gods. This is something interesting about, because it corresponds to what I recently thought of as peace. Why peace is so important. For many people, it may look like, peaceful means like no energy to live, no excitement, no adventure, Peace is something like sleeping, nearly falling asleep. What's the fun in it? What's the fun in that life of peace? Yeah? But peace plays a very special role. It actually works like a filter. It does not allow the disturbing vital forces to come into the system. So it's like withholding us back from all the troubling forces, yes, which want to enter and want to trouble us, possess us from within. All kind of thoughts, feelings, emotions, fears. All these forces are filtered or cast away by peace. And I think this is that idea of barhis, extending one's inner being and getting into that state in which only spiritual forces can enter. Spiritual forces would not enter if there is a crowded space, with all other desires, fears, anxieties, and so on. Nobody will come into such a temple. So the temple has to be cleaned and prepared, and peace is to be established, and only then we can expect those forces to act. And it means totally new being. It doesn't mean the boring being. Peace is only a preparation. It's the ground on which, as on Barhis, all the gods would sit around the fire and will start partaking of the offering. There will be an excitement, a lot of joy and bliss and truth and knowledge and power. Everything comes, but from totally different source. Not from the source of the vital disturbance or mental dogmas. It's totally different source. But the peace or that barhis is needed. That's why it is always mentioned in the Veda. Come and sit on our barhis, on our extension. Come to our peace, as it were. So these gods who desire our surrender awaken, or Agni, being our messenger, sit down together with the gods you brought from above, because he always brings the gods from above or from within, in the space we have prepared for you within ourselves. And then, Dharita Havana Didivah.
Just a moment before you move ahead, Vladimir.
Yes.
I have a question. I have
Yes.
two questions actually. Yeah. So one of the first things is about stressing or the vertical marks. Uh, can you just uh, tell me a little bit about this? For example, if I had to pronounce this, I would go. I have never read this hymn before. Okay, but I would go Tan u shato vi vodhaya yadagne yasi. Is that right? Is my thinking right?
Yes, yes. If you want to get the how to read the accent, it's quite simple. So when you see short vowel with
Yes.
svarita, you don't do double svarita. You do only one svarita. When you have long vowel like o, there are short and long vowels, yeah,
Right.
with svarita, then it is doubled, yeah.
Okay. So it will be wo o dha.
Yeah, bodhaya, yes.
Okay.
Tam no ushato vivim bodhaya yad agne yasi dutiyam. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I got it. So long vowels with Swarita would be extending it, stretching. Okay.
Let me open the other text which would give us more precise accentuation that because we need to have this. I don't see it. I have to find it in another spot.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But yes, if you are asking accent, it's important. You want to read the hymn with accentuation. But by the way, I must tell you something about accentuation then. I most probably already spoke about it. But that accentuation was needed only to preserve the udatta.
I got that. I got that last time when you said that. That
Oh
it was
yeah,
actually needed to preserve in memory, but it is not exactly the right way all the time. I mean, that's
no,
my
it is
feeling.
absolutely correct for the preservation. Yeah, in the Rigveda at least, there is no
Okay.
doubt. But
Okay.
it is not for the sacrificial reading. If you want to read, yeah, for yourself, here it is.
Okay.
You see, Ushato. I missed this. The printing missed few. I saw that the Anudattas are missing. Tam Ushato Vibodhaya Yad Agneya Sidutiyam. When you have nasalization with short and svarita, then it is also doubled.
The underlines are missing in this thing.
Yeah, somehow they disappeared from the text.
Okay.
From the
Okay. We'll take it up some other text then. I think that's fine.
this
Let's
is
go ahead. Yeah.
mhm.
Because without the underlinings, it is difficult to understand.
No, it is not possible. Somehow they disappeared. I don't
Okay.
know how they did disappear.
Okay, let's go ahead. Sorry. Yeah. Thanks.
All right. Good. You asked. You see, you corrected the text. Thank you. But in this other text, you will see that the only udattas are marked. Yes. Tam, ushato, vibodhaya, yad agne yasi, dutiyam, devaich asatsi, barhishi. So this is how the word was pronounced by the Vedic rishis. Yeah, this is the precise morphological accent in the word. But these Vedic accentuation is actually preserving it, pointing, because Svarita is pointing that previous was Udatta, and Anudatta points that next is Udatta. Yes, so they are both pointing to Udatta from both sides. This is how it was arranged.
I think we'll need an example which has the underlined thing because
Oh
I'm not
yeah,
able to
right.
understand it. So
Yes.
anyway, but we'll take it up some other time. I
All
think
right,
that's
all
fine.
right. So those, yes, and that is the only question. Yeah. Okay. You said two
Sorry.
questions.
Yeah,
Second
right. Sorry.
disappeared.
Sorry. Yeah, so I was asking whether this V generally means go or movement or going. The word V.
V is the prefix here.
V both here, this one.
Yeah, Vibodhaya is together with Bodhaya. V is a prefix. All the prefixes in Vedic language are separate from the verbs, and
Okay.
which is not the case in classical. You see asatsi, it's also prefix. And V, and it can stand in any position, not necessarily in front of the verb. It can be before many words or even after the verb.
And what is the purpose of this prefix then?
V means this movement, yeah?
The separation.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
yeah, separation and going into details, going into duality, expanding in space, yes?
Okay.
From
okay,
here we
okay,
have this profound name Vishnu. Vishnu is
Okay.
snu, is a suffix of the doer, and V is holding two in one, yes?
Okay.
And because Vishnu holds heaven and earth separately established, and that is the explanation in Taittiriya Aranyaka of Vishnu, because he is holding two, heaven and earth. He is Vishnu. Shnu is Snu, like Jishnu, the conqueror. Vishnu is the who holds two. So,
Okay. I got it. Thanks.
yeah, there is also V root, which means to move. We will meet this word viti, vitaye. This is in the next verse.
Okay. Thank you. I think I got it. Yeah.
Yes,
right.
yes, you're welcome.
Okay.
You don't need to be apologetic. You'll
No,
always
that's
come
fine.
with questions. It's fine.
Okay.
Always fine.
Okay.
It helps to understand the text deeper. We need deeper understanding, because explanation is not enough. It has to be built in language. You have to feel the language. Yeah?
Okay.
Then it stays, then it explains, then the vision comes. So Grita Havana Didivach Pratishma Rishato Daha Agne Tvam Rakshasvinaha. O fire, thou who art called by the offerings of clarity, thou shining one, do thou oppose and burn down the Hades that confine. There is a new characteristic, Grita Havana, so invoked or called upon by Grita. Grita is the central term in the Rigveda, the same as Soma and Grita. These are two offerings which are making fire burn. Yes, when we make oblation of the ghee, Grita is ghee, clarified butter, the fire burns. You saw many times in the temples when the priests, Brahmins, are doing this. Yes, oblation of ghee into the fire, how it burns. So that is the symbolic, yeah. But Sri Aurobindo says Grita is the clarified mentality, a clarified mind, pure, heated up with clarity mind which is nearly transformed by spiritual presence. And this is something interesting. So the fire, the divine will in us, is invoked by Grita. Yeah? So here I give my today's interpretation. I was just reading this before the meeting. Fire can be invoked and kindled by the offerings of mental clarity, Grita. There is a profound psychological truth expressed in this verse. To kindle the divine will in us, we must offer him the purified butter of our thinking, Grita, and emotions, Soma. This flame will not easily burn if we offer something difficult for his inflammation. We need to give him some spiritual substance, yeah? Something which would give him possibility to flame and to grow. And that purified mentality in us, prepared for the offering, and also purified and distilled and purified the emotional part, Soma, they are making him burn in us. And then once he is burning, once he is flaming, we can offer less digestible food. even wet sticks, those which are not ready to burn, he will eat them up. But at the beginning, we need to invoke them with more subtle food, subtle in spiritual sense. And we know it. Somehow psychologically we know it. That we cannot really get into that aspiration, state of aspiration and knowledge and surrendering ourselves without working out in the mind and the vital the food for this flame to grow. It's something very psychological, very true. It will not come by itself in our, difficult state of fear or anxiety. It will not be burning there. It needs nurturing. It needs feeding with our offerings. That's why it is here. It is to receive the offering, to transform our life. So if we are not offering him anything, so how can he really burn? And then Agni Nagni Samidhyate Kavir Grihapatih Yuva Havyavad Juhuasya.
May
By
I
the
ask a question before that, Vladimir, before we go?
yes, sure.
So I wanted to know what is said about reaching that divine clarity. What how do you reach that clarity? How do you offer that grihata?
How to produce the grita, yeah, the ghee. Yes. We are doing it all the time. We are thinking, we are searching for the truth, we are always looking for the meaning in life. Yes? And that is kind of distilling, purifying thoughts, spiritual thoughts, our meditation thoughts, our aha moments. All this is a great food for the flame to grow, for the divine will to grow in us. That's how we are feeding him.
That sounds so cool. Thanks, Vladimir.
Yes.
I was thinking I have to learn something more difficult, but you said you're already doing it. That's so cool. Thank you.
Yes, of course, you're doing it. And once the flame is growing, you want it to grow more. You don't want it to grow less. And that's what happened to you when you left for 1 month. Where is my flame? I want it back. So let's start again, Yagya. And
That was flame in action, Vladimir. Everything I learned had to apply for human beings. 1 lakh Indians, it was mind blowing.
oh
So I
yeah,
just kept offering myself and offering. I forgot, like action was meditation. There was no, I had to burn as flame. That was the only way, It's a 21-hour working day I had. It was crazy. So I shouldn't really think that I missed out, but then I missed the class a lot. Yes.
all right, all right. I didn't mean to this.
No,
I
no,
meant
no.
only that, yes, I just wanted to give an example that once you, of course, you are feeding it with all your offerings. You offer more than yourself, and you offer the surrounding, the context in which you are, the people who come to you. You create the atmosphere of this, of burning towards the truth. Seeking the truth is the fire. Huh? He's always seeking the truth. So,
And when you say that later on we can add some indigestible material also, what does that mean?
well, when the flame is burning, yeah, then it's easy to take many things which were not possible to take otherwise. Yeah. So you find the truth in every many things which are kind of mundane and far away from the truth, looking far away, yeah, in their form. But you find that truth is hidden in everything, in the most mundane things. You read the newspaper and you find the truth. Yeah, that means the fire is burning already.
I just want to say something over here, Vladimir.
Yes.
This paragraph that you have written, fire can be invoked and kindled by the offerings. So this is totally unrelated, but I just want to show you.
Mm.
There's a book by Omram Michael Ivanov.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you've heard of this. This is called The Mysteries of Fire and oops, Fire and Water.
Wow.
It says absolutely the same thing. So this is kind of very ancient knowledge, I think, because it has been there all over the world. The idea that you start off with very subtle elements which you offer, and then you can go on to burn the the heavier or bad things.
Can you
Yeah.
please repeat the author?
It's
Ivanov. Mm.
Omram Mikhail Ivanov.
Thank you.
It's called The Mysteries of Fire and Water.
Thank you.
Interesting, yeah, because these are two major elements in the Veda, yes?
Yeah.
Even,
Fire and
Vladimir,
water. Mm.
even Gurjeet has mentioned what Kinshuk brought out. Like, no? He's an Armenian mystic,
Yes, Gurdjieff, I know him very
Oh
well.
yeah, right.
and that was also beautiful. And I was also wondering when Rashi was asking this question, like the 4 levels of speech. It's quite possible, like if we can even handle Vaikari at whatever level, if we are slowly into that
Yeah,
zone.
right. The 4 levels of speech in Tantra, which we looked into before, yes. Vaikari, as the word outside, yes, when the word outside is actually revelation from the inner expression. So it's always the case, yes. If the flame is burning, that's why the fire later was identified with the word. Interesting, yes, in the post-Vedic, as in Brahmanic literature. The flame and the word were kind of identified as one power because it's a self-expression of the being. In the Veda, it's a bit different. In the Rigveda, there is Brihaspati, yes, in the heart. The flame is the more of Rudra's power. It is the son of Rudra. It is that aspiration in nature towards the divine, the divinity within the nature which is bursting through, burning through, yes, and changing all the forms, mutating the forms, making them more supple, more receptive of the divine truth. So they are becoming more and more suitable for the spirit. So that's the work of the divine, of the fire within. But that, when it is charged with a mantra, with a word of Brihaspati from the heart, and Brihaspati is the lord of, or even the father of all the rishis, 7 rishis, Angirasa rishis are his tongues or his flames of Brihaspati. Then, once it is framed by the conscious intention, then it reaches to heaven, and then Indra answers with his lightning, and so Agni, flame from above, below, and lightning from above, they join. Indragni. There are hymns to Indragni, both of them. This is the aim of the sacrifice, to connect the divinity from below with the divinity from above. And then all the miracles are achieved and realized here. So here he is invoked by Grita. He invoked and kindled by Grita. This is an important, the subtle food, the food of spiritual kind, that what we prepared for him. And he has to burn also all those who confine and those haters, Rishatach and Rakshasvinach, those who obstruct our movement forward, that spiritual flame. There are many obstructors. There are special forces which do not want this flame to burn. And they are offering them as offering to him. So burn them, take them as food. Oh, he would love it. He would love them as food. He doesn't mind to burn them. Only he has to be strong enough. Yeah. And then, Agnina Agni Samidhyate Kavir Grihapatir Yuva Avyavad Juhasiyah. So by the fire is the fire perfectly kindled. The seer, the lord of the house, the youth, the bearer of offering, whose mouth receives the offerings. The fire is kindled perfectly by the fire. For he is the seer, the master, and the inhabitant of the house, always young, bearing our call and offering, whose mouth receives the offering. This mouth, it looks like, it's like, what do you call it, where you burn the fire, when you kind of melt the metal, that kind of, this mouth is interesting because it has two components of enjoyment also. Yes, it enjoys the transformation of our being into the divine being. So all the offerings, what we offer is ourselves. We offer our thoughts, our feelings, our bodies, our incapacities to make them capacities. We offer all this to this flame within us, and he enjoys the offering, enjoys the transformation. And you notice every time you master some weakness in you, it is a tremendous joy. It's like you are getting out of sickness, something like this. You were a long time sick and then you became healthy. You just even forgot how it is to be healthy. It's that feeling. So by Agni, Agni is to be totally kindled. This is also an interesting thing. So only by the means of the divine that you can realize the divine. One cannot do it by other means. Yeah? It's like in Taittiriya, you remember, so Brahman is tapas, so realize Brahman by tapas, because Brahman is tapas. So that tapas is Agni, yes? That consciousness force. And it is by consciousness force you can realize consciousness force. You can't realize it by some other means. He is Kavich also, he is the seer. Sri Aurobindo translates usually Kavich as a poet, as a seer. Grihapati, he is the Lord of our house. This house, this body, is his house. He is the Lord. He is the one who lives within. Otherwise, this body would not come into existence. He is constantly young, or ever young. You are. Because he is always of the truth. Truth is always young. It's never old. He is the carrier of Havya, of that which is offered. He is Juhuasiyah. He is partaking, enjoying the offering. I spoke about invoking an offering already in the previous session, invoking and offering the same root, yes? Juhoti, to make oblation, to offer as an oblation, and to call. Yes, from here, Hotar, the invoker and the offerer. So one cannot invoke someone without offering. It's not invoking. Invoking is offering. Yes. I call you because I have some food for you, some feast. We can sit and celebrate. That's how I call you. I don't call you to get something from you. So this is the idea of this root. And then, Kavim Agnim Upastuhi Satyadharmanam Adhavare Devam Amiva Chatanam. The divine flame, to the divine flame, to the seer, him whose law of being is the truth, the shining one, the destroyer of all evils. Approach and chant the hymn of praise. This is Sri Aurobindo's translation. My interpretation, establish in yourself, or affirm rather, stuhi, affirm in yourself the flame of the divine will. who is the seer and the creator of the word. Again, the word interesting. Whose law of action is that of the truth, Satya Dharmanam, the shining deity, removing all the obstacles, Amiva Chadanam. Now, interestingly, Devam, yes, the god, I am translating shining deity, because Devam from Rudiv, to shine. So it's a shining being, luminous being. We translate them as gods, but they are luminous beings. So to Kavi, to Agni, upastuhi, or Kavi and Agni, you affirm within yourself. I'm taking this translation stu as affirmation and establishment of the deity within ourselves from Sri Aurobindo. He says that through stu, stuti, stotram, stuhi, all these words are, stuhi is the imperative second person. So they are from root stu, which means to affirm the divine within ourselves. And it's quite interesting because there are other roots very closely related. Yes, if you analyze from the point of view of the language etymology, you will see that there is root sta, to stay. Yeah, there are stri, to stretch, the same etymology. Yeah? To establish in the movement, to stretch. Interesting. Ri is to move, and st is to stop, to to stable, to make it stable. All the words in English are of the same kind. Stables, yeah, stumble, stool, station, and so on. Yeah? Even stupid. You can see many kind of stumbling words which are creating this sit, yeah, etymological sense. So the stuhi is of the same kind, yeah, establish or affirm within oneself, yeah? The deity. This affirmation within oneself means giving the root within oneself for this action of the divine. So having kind of a stamba inside oneself, which is holding the ground of the divine. Adhavare, interesting word, we already spoke about it. It's the journey sacrifice, because it is viewed as a constant journey, it's constant moving forward. Sacrifice is not something done and finished. It's done and again has to be done, and again you have to move and do it all the time. You cannot stop. Yeah, it's dynamic. It's on the move, because time moves us forward. We have much to do. There is a whole infinite ocean of inconscient which has to be transformed, and it is waiting for us. So our journey is needed. We have to go ahead and receive more and more darkness, more and more unregenerated things into ourselves, and transform it through ourselves. We are the transforming station here. And Agni is our guest in our home, or the spark. We are the spark of this deity. So we are doing his work. We are Yajamana. He is Yajamana within us, our soul. And then,
I had a question, Vladimir.
yes,
When you say that we are constantly doing, is this the work referred to by Sri Krishna in the Gita? That we have to be constantly working, there's no point.
absolutely. Very nice. Lovely. Yes. This is the same in Isha Upanishad. Kurvanneveha karmani jiji vishechatam samaha. Yes, but one must do here verily works. What works? Work, karma, is actually, in the Vedic terms, it is the sacrifice. Yes. There is no other work. We have no other work to do here, only one work. It is the transforming the unregenerated, darkened nature by the light of higher consciousness. And that's why we are working. We are constantly bringing in this light, inner light, into this um, uh, gross matter, which is becoming more and more supple and receptive of the light. That's why we are working. That's why there's a constant movement in time. Time is pushing all of us. We cannot stop. If we stop, time will push us. This is something interesting. Some of you may have felt this push of time. Yes? Even if you want to stop it, you can't. You will have to get up and go and do something and continue and continue and continue. You do many stupid things. Also, we do many stupid things, but eventually we find our way out. We meet all the obstacles. We deal with all the obstacles. Yes?
Is this the moment towards Ritam and Satyam that they talk about? This journey?
Yes, rhythm, absolutely. The dynamic truth, the truth in movement, in becoming, because there is truth of being and truth of becoming. Absolutely. So the truth of becoming is to remove the obstacles, to change them, to transform them, to burn them, and that's why we have Agni. Amiva Chatanam, the one who chases away, who hides, who causes the obstacles move away, yeah, the suffering move away, where everything moves away with the progression of this flame within us, with the growth of the flame. My God, we just don't know what we are, really. When I think of it, it's such a powerful thing. We are the flame, and we can make this flame grow, and then we are totally happy and totally fulfilled and realized in our life. The lesser truths would not satisfy our being here. Only this. This is totally satisfactory. The flame. This is the love, meaning of truth, meaning of knowledge, power, everything in one go, in one flame. And then, Yastvam Agneha Vishpatich Dutam Devasa Paryati Tasyasma Pravita Bhava. The shining or flame or divine messenger, the Lord of the offerings, who waits on thee, of him become the protector. The Lord of the offerings who waits on thee. This is an interesting turn of the usually Havishpati, the Lord of Havich. And so I got this idea. So my interpretation, O shining God, the Lord of offering, who makes you, Agni, his messenger to the gods, take him, the offerer, under your intensive protection and care. Root Av, we have this Av all the time, Avatumam, yes? I spoke about this at the beginning. In this pravitri, pra-av, yes, root, with pra prefix forward. The protector, as Sri Aurobindo translates, and care, can be also translated from Sri Aurobindo, I am taking this meaning, growing and filling from within, from root U. U has this extension or filling the space, avatu mam, yeah. Fill my inner space. So we can translate the line as fill the one with your presence and power, the one who is the Lord of the offering, or who made himself an altar for transformation. This word Havishpatich, the Lord of the offering, why the Lord is used? Because that means the person is totally living only for one reason, for the growth of consciousness. he made himself an altar for constant transformation. He's the Lord of every offering. It's like the Mother and Sri Aurobindo, let us say. Yeah? So a constant, non-stop, uninterrupted offering to the divine, everything what comes in.
So Vladimir, is it like something that you choose, or is it something that you're chosen for?
It is something that you choose. You choose to be this. Once you choose to be this, he prays, please feel him, the one who offers everything to you. Feel with your presence. Grow within him forward. Pravita. Become the forward growing power of him. Because why forward? Because it's a constant journey. It's again and again has to be done. So
And why protector? Why become the protector?
but this is feeling from within is protecting against all the obstacles which are preventing us from growing. This is the protector.
But at the same time, didn't you say that, it's like whenever we conquer something, we, break a barrier, we kind of battle with the obstacle and come on the other side, we also grow. So all the obstacles are actually little instruments of our own growth and development. So then why do we need protection from that?
Protection is the contextual meaning of the word. The central meaning would be growing within, feeling, fulfilling our inner being or in our outer self, fulfilling us. Once you are fulfilled, you are protected. Protection is actually it's kind of peripheral meaning, yeah, in a way. Once you're full, there is no gap that these forces can come in. You're protected. You just.
Yeah. I mean, I thought in terms of healing work, when I do the healing thing, then we ask for protection because again things can come or whatever, I don't know. So
Yeah.
like then I understand, but I didn't think of it as an obstacle that way. So yeah, okay.
You are right. You are right. Absolutely. There are several roots which mean different things, and they are all translated as protecting. For example, there is another root, rakshati. Rakshati is protecting also, but it is scaring away. From here, rakshas, to scare. You see these rakshasas on these lorries at the back, yeah? Why they draw these strange figures with tongue and with claws and so on, with teeth.
Yeah, Vladimir, I'll show you right now. See.
Okay. Yay, you have them, yes.
This is my entrance.
He is the protector. Protector in what way? He scares away other forces that they should not enter. Yeah? That's why they draw this on lorry or on the corners of the temples. You see these creatures. They are protecting the temple's inner side. Yeah? This is also protecting. And in that sense, you are thinking protecting. This root of is not protecting in that sense. It's rather feeling, fulfilling, and thus protecting.
Yes, I understand.
Not scaring away. They just cannot enter because he is there. Yeah?
Thank you.
Yeah, it's important to see what the words mean in etymological sense. What Sri Aurobindo does for us, he gives us the keys, and then we can understand better why these words are used. And Vedic rishis are very conscious of the usage of the words. And okay, we did this verse, yes? So Havishpati is the one who constantly offers everything of his life to the Lord. And so fulfill him, fill him with your presence, yeah? Forward. Not just fill him for now. Forward means fill him for the next steps which are coming. Yes.
Vladimir, so basically here Havishpati is waiting on Agni and offering to the Grihapati. Is that how I would interpret it? That the
Yeah,
Yajman
yeah,
inside is offering.
yeah.
Okay.
And interestingly, that pati is used because it's not really proper to use for
Myself.
Havishpati. Yeah?
Okay.
It makes him as if a deity. And there is a subtle meaning of this deity in pati, meaning that this Havishpati is actually the one Yajamana, the soul within. Yes.
Okay.
It is only him who could be Havishpati, because our outer being cannot be. Our mental, vital, and physical nature is too involved in the outer things. Too many energies are not of the divine origin there. They are still to be recovered. So Havishpati can be only a Yajamana in a way. So Yajamana is waiting for the action, for the fulfillment of the divine will, offering everything to the divine will. This is interesting. Yeah. So
But this Yajmana is essentially much more closer to myself.
yes, it is the
It's
spark
more
of
closer to
Agni.
my
Yes.
personality rather than Agni. Okay.
Yes, it is Agni who is actually doing the sacrifice.
Okay. 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 Right.
Who is calling to Agni to flame and to fulfill. It's
Okay.
like
This is
um,
complicated.
no, it is actually the very gist of all the spiritual kind of experience. You remember this mantra, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir Brahmagna Brahmanahutam from the Gita. So it is Brahma who is offering, yes? Brahma Agni. Brahma is oblation. Brahma is the result of the realization. It's all done by the inner being. The whole yoga is done by the inner self, by the divine within us. It is the divine who is calling for the divine. Yeah? So for the divine to without, from within, calling. So these forces which come, they start changing our surface nature, which we offer. But the offering can be done only by the inner being. It cannot be done by the outer, or by the parts of the outer being which are already becoming aware of the inner presence. They want it, and they start kind of doing this work of the inner self. So it's all done by the divine within us. And somewhere the mother also says, one day you will realize that the whole yoga is done by me in you. But you'd think that you are doing it. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
This Havishpati has that kind of, yes, imprint of that is the Lord within does the work. It is He who is calling the transformation and doing the offering. And then
so the inner being which wants to reach the divine above, in between that fire is there, helps in this reaching out. Like fire is the medium.
Your voice is breaking. I couldn't hear you. That's why I switched off this one to see you at least. Maybe.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So the inner being, when it's trying to reach out to the divine above, then the fire is the medium. So the role of Agni is to be the medium for the Brahman.
It is the medium and the means and the goal, actually. Well, it's difficult to understand that is the goal because once it is achieved, we understand that everything is done by fire, and fire brings all the powers from above through himself to the surface. Yes, it's the gateway for all the devatas. He comes here with the gods. He sits around and transforms our being with other higher powers, but he has to bring them down. So he is the means and the goal. And that is, for our mind, is a bit confusing here.
Like seed of the psychic? I mean, seed of, like how there's seed in the mango, similarly seed of the psychic?
Yes, like psychic being which is growing. Yes, psychic comes to the front, and then it enlarges itself to the whole universe, embraces the whole, all the powers, divine powers, and then it even becomes greater than that and goes to the transcendental realm, to Ananda, and brings the Satchit Ananda powers into the play of manifestation. And still, it is the psychic being. Still it is the one who does all and is the aim of this manifestation and creation. And this is the puzzle of the whole thing for the mind. But once we solve this puzzle, once we see the whole process, there is no more question, I think. After these answers, there are no questions asked. Only the yoga is to be done. The flame is to be nurtured. The place is to be prepared. The forces are to be invoked. We are here only to invoke and to give to this transformative process all ourselves. And this is the aim of life. There's not much more to do. Okay, we can stop here today. It's a good soft moment to stop. It's 11 o'clock. Great. Yeah, somebody.
I just wanted to say that what if we forget to get in touch with the Agni? How do we sort of call it back? Like, yeah.
That's what we are doing. We are becoming aware. We have to prepare. That's this food. We are preparing this kind of gharita, And Vedas are helping us to prepare the gharita, the food for fire. And then we feed him and he grows slowly in us.
Where in the body? Like in the...
Where in the body? It's in the heart. It's also above the head. It's in the third eye. It's in each level, in each chakra you can find him burning. It depends where you are now. Where are you? In which part of the body are you? It's consciousness pervading all, huh?
In the chest, moreover, like I think where it's more difficult, there it's more easier.
In the chest. Yeah, many people feel it exactly here. Plexus solaris. Even if you try to touch your plexus solaris, you will feel that's very sensitive, even physically sensitive. It's interesting that even our physical body is, it's like electrical station here of the whole system. And the flame is there. Deep, deep, you go deep within and there will be a flame. And that flame is that Agni, Idya, Priyaha, beloved one. All right, we stop here then. I will close with mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Can you imagine we would not have a Rigveda? What would happen to this world? We would never know that this, who we are, All this knowledge which came later came from the Veda. It's just interpretation in different wording, in different systems, in different minds of the same knowledge. Flame within, seeking its own realization in this world. the divine is expanding and taking over all our manifestation, what we are on the surface. And we are growing into Him, and there is no way out. Even if we refuse to do it, the nature will do it, as Sri Aurobindo says. The nature is His power who is doing the work. But it will take longer time. Great. Okay, so see you then. Namaste. All the best.